Hi everyone, this is Kathleen Melago, author of In Tune with Students. This is video number 5 of 7 in a series of videos designed to help you get started with the new school year, or just if you're new to teaching privately, help you out to get started, or just rejuvenate you whenever you happen to come across these videos. In this video, we're going to be looking at helping students get to know themselves as musicians. A big part of a person's identity is self-awareness, really understanding who you are and understanding things about you. In terms of private lessons, giving students at least some agency, or we say voice and choice, over their learning is really important to helping them achieve their goals. And really what we want to do is we want to help students set and achieve healthy goals, reasonable goals for their musicianship. If you've only been playing a couple weeks, you're probably not going to audition for a major symphony, right? So we want to be setting and achieving realistic goals with our students. And that really starts with the students knowing themselves as musicians. When I started taking private lessons when I was in 7th grade, the main goal I had going into private lessons was I wanted to know how to double tongue. So flute is my primary instrument, and at that point in band, we were playing a lot of music that went really fast, and some of my classmates could double tongue, and I couldn't. And my band director would talk about double tongue that, double tongue that. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, right? So the band director also had really encouraged me to take private lessons. And so when I went to my private lessons, I had an agenda. Like, I need to learn to double tongue. And I did. That was a very good thing that I learned how to do when I was in my lessons. And I actually love double tonguing. I think it's like one of my favorite things to be able to do on the flute because I had that need to know. I was the one who brought that goal into the lesson. When I get a new student, after we've gone through the introductions, which we've talked about in previous videos, I like to find out what they think they do well and what their areas for growth are for them as a musician. And that way we can tailor the goals in lessons to match what their needs are. That's really important because it can be very tempting to want students to travel down the same paths that we had. I know for myself, I had great experiences going to honors bands. I loved them and I couldn't get enough of them. So it can be very tempting for me to have a student and think, well, my student's old enough to audition for honors band. Like, let's do that next. But that might not be that student's interest. That student, is a unique individual that has other goals. So just like I'm not just like Kathy the teacher, I also have other things I like to do. Our students are the same. They also have other things they like to do. And especially as they're going through like middle school and high school and whatnot, they're starting to develop what they're going to be interested in maybe for their life. And it may or may not be pursuing a career in music. So we have to help them meet their goals, set and achieve their goals within their life situation. And that really is something that they have to have agency over. One of the questions that often comes up in a job interview is, tell us about your strengths, or what are your strengths? And that can be a really awkward question to answer because either you're like, oh, let me tell you about my strengths. I got so many of them, how long do you have? Or you can be like, well, I don't know, like, I'm really good at anything like that specific, I don't really know what my strengths are. But the only way the other person's going to know your strengths is if you can tell them what they are. So something that I encourage students to do, and I also do this in my work with student teachers, if you ever work with student teachers, is I say take any adjudication forms you have or any assessment forms you have and sort of summarize them. So if you see that, you're reading over them and each evaluation is saying, wow, your tone is wonderful, or you keep getting 10 out of 10 on your tone or things like that, then if somebody asks you that question, you could say, well, in reviewing, many people who have heard me play have commented that my tone consistently comes up that my tone is really strong. Then you can still answer their question without sounding arrogant if that's something that kind of worries you, because I know that does worry some people. When students understand what their musical strengths and areas for growth are, they're in the position to actually have that foundation that they need to be able to set and achieve their personal goals. So in the In Tune with Music book, I actually have a student goal sheet that is there. It's reproducible as well, so you can make copies of it for your students. But it walks them through the process of thinking about what they want to try to accomplish and how they plan to accomplish their own personal goals. So now that we understand a little bit more about students identifying their strengths and areas that they would like to work on, it's just so important to let them achieve the goals, set and achieve the goals that are important to them, rather than the ones that maybe you want them to achieve. It's a great idea as a teacher, we say sometimes the facilitator of learning, to show them the doors that could be open to them. So, this is honors band. This is this. This is this type of competition. Whatever it is, this is what it involves, so that they have the information they need to decide if it's a goal that they want to set for themselves. But then in the end, it's just really critical that you give the students the voice and choice in their lessons so that they can work to set and achieve their own goals. Thank you for watching video number 5, and I hope I will see you in video number 6 coming up soon.